shift in the way the client is hiring the candidates, right? So earlier, what used to happen is that analytics, data analytics, whatever used to be there pertaining to digital marketing, they used to give an assignment to the students and then to the candidate, and then they were expected to work on that assignment and then submit it to the client. And then later, once post the submission, is when client used to ask them to explain that. But now what has happened is, so client is asking to the candidates to share their screen, and they give them the scenario, and they are supposed to work on the screen in front of the client. So this becomes a little more challenging. So try to refrain from sticking to depending on ChatGPT or any other AI tools for the solutions, right? So you should be capable enough to answer any query that client is going to ask. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes. So all the cameras are off. I'm not sure whether if everyone is listening to this or not. Is everyone there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, fine. So what we will do is that we will see some sample prep charter, right? Prep exercise before we. But before we do that, we will see some sample exercise. So I'll share a file with you guys. There'll be sample 4 questions in that. So I'm expecting everyone of you to work on that. Okay. I will take some random names. So you'll have to share your screen and show me what you did with that question. Okay. So let me share my screen first before I share the file. Just a minute. Okay. Is my screen visible to everyone? Yes. Guys, everyone, please focus. I may take anyone's name. So for a specific answer, so you're expected to share your screen and show me the your attempt. Okay, so basically we have simple 4 questions here. So count the entries with zero sales. Okay, count the search terms which contain born good and CPC is less than equal to 10. So this is the raw data in the search term file. You have to go there, and for these first 2 questions, you will have to attempt your answers in these cells. Okay. The next one is based on the following condition, place a comment in column Z. So basically, in the search term report, in the last column, you can see Z. Here is the place where you'll have to use the appropriate function and place the comment basis the condition here, right? Check where we are spending something on the campaign but not getting any sales, that is zero sales, and comment it as non-performing, else comment it as performing. So this is if statement, right? So you are done with this, so that should not be a challenge for you, right? And then you'll have to create a pivot table here. So first half an hour out until 4:30, you are supposed to finish this. And towards the last 1 hour, I'll walk you through the prep assignment that we have. Okay. So the sample prep sheet that we have, so that you'll be ready for your interview. Yeah. So here the fourth question is insert a pivot table in new sheet and show campaign wise spend sales. And apart from that, add a calculated field for ACOS. So formula for ACOS is given here, spend by 14-day sales year, right? So here we have the spends and 14-day sales in the sheet. So you will consider those metrics. Okay, this one and this one. Okay, and then apply custom grouping to show campaigns with zero sales in one group and rest in other. So this one you can still ignore. I'm not sure whether this has been taught to you or not. Custom grouping, you can still ignore that. If anyone can work on that, that's well and good. Otherwise, you are expected to work until here. Everyone clear with this? Yeah? Okay, we'll go one at a time, guys. So let's take 5 minutes to finish the first question. And then I'll ask someone to share the screen. You can share the screen and then we can move ahead from there. We'll see the solution there and then we'll go to the next one. Okay, let me share the link for this file in the chat box. I have shared the link in the chat box. Please download the file there and try to work on the first question. These are not that complex formulas, guys. This is the basic stuff that we have, right? So pivot table, I agree, it may be a little complex for you, but again, count ifs, this should be fine for you, I guess. Yeah. Okay, guys, everyone attempt the first question. If anyone is done with first, can move to the second. But for now, let's focus on the first question. I will take a name of one of you. Okay, so you'll have to share your screen and show the answer in your sheet. Okay. Let's give 3-4 minutes time for everyone to work on this. Guys, hope everyone is working on the sheet. The link I've shared in the chat box. Guys, if anyone has any doubt, please ask. Okay, guys, for people who joined late, I have shared a link for a file. Please access that file, download a copy, and start working on that. There are 4 questions there, so you're expected to solve those basic questions. Okay, I have reshared the file link again in the chat box. Okay, guys, so first question should have been done. So I'll just take one name. Please share your screen and show me what you've done in your sheet. Okay. Chirag, are you there? Chirag Kyle?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, did you work on the first question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you
Sir.
share your screen once?
Sir,
Yes.
can we do it on Google spreadsheet?
That is a non-editable, that is viewer only access, right? So if you save a copy, you can do that. If you save a copy in your drive and then do it, that should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yes, Chirag, are you sharing? Okay.
Put the filter on total sales and take the zero. Then here equal the zero. And the entries, these are the.
No, you're supposed to use a function, right? So this is a manual activity, right? What function will be used? Can someone tell me what function is supposed to be used there?
Counting.
Countif, right? We have one condition, so you have to use a countif, and so answer has to be recorded in the next to the question in the task sheet. We'll have to put a countif formula next to the question and get the answer there. You're not expected to. This is for everyone, guys. If someone is asking for a question, if you do this manually, they are not expecting that. So you are supposed to work on a formula or a function. So that's what is the expectation. Okay. Yeah, someone raised a hand. Who's that? Okay, Ankesh, did you work on the question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you share your screen? It's still loading.
Is it visible? Is it visible?
No, it's still loading.
It's
Yeah, now it's visible. Yes.
a bit slow.
Okay, here,
So I applied counting and selected the sales column and then zero.
right. The formula is correct, just that this was supposed to be in the first sheet next to the task, right? And next to the question. So here we are going to use a nested if function. I'm sorry, if function there, right? So the formula is correct, good, right? But that has to be in the first sheet next to the task. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do a stop share. Okay, everyone got this right. So basically, we wanted to have a formula here. So we wanted to take account of all the entries with zero sales. So we'll say equal to count if, open bracket, and range in criteria. So basically, where are we looking at taking the count of? So that has to be from the search term. So we'll toggle to that sheet. And then here we have the 14-day sales is here. So we can either select the entire column like this or only the data with the only the cells with the data. So in this case, P22, P2205 and comma. So what is my criteria? Criteria is we are looking for zero sales. We can give a zero, right? So close bracket. So that gives me 1919. So that is the correct answer. Yeah. Yes, Sanju.
सर यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली जीरो देने से हो जाएगा या डबल कोट लगा के जो स्टार दे के होते उसमें नहीं होगा?
No, you need not do that. So zero. So all whenever you specify the criteria, right? If the criteria is numeric in nature, we need not specify it in inverted double quotes, right? Only in case if it's text is when we give it in inverted double quotes. Even if I give it in inverted double quotes, that will still return me the same result. You see, there's no difference as such, right? And when do we give asterisk? Asterisk is given when our criteria is partial, right? So here our criteria is not partial. Zero will match exactly as it is, right? So we can straight away give zero as a criteria. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. Guys, can anyone worked on the second question, guys? Count the search terms which contain bond good and CPC is less than equal to 10. Okay. Try working on this one, guys. Take a couple of minutes and then we will proceed with this as well. Start working on the second question. So here, what function are we going to use in this case? Can someone tell me? Which function is going to be used here for the second question?
Count if, sir.
COUNTIFs, correct, right? So we have two criteria to be checked. So we'll have to go with COUNTIFs, right? So apply and see. Yeah, good. Guys, I may ask anyone to share the screen. So I expect everyone to work on the file. Okay. So now that you're nearing the placement interviews, guys, so you need to be a little more careful and practice more with these data analysis questions so that you can crack the interview, right? For the second question as well, answer should be next to in the next cell of the question, right? So it should be D4 is where you need to type the formula there. Okay. Okay, done with second question. Prateek Jadhav, Rajesh Bhai Yadav. Are you there? Prateek, are you there? Okay. Sagar Kumar,
Yes, Anil, I'm fine.
you're working on it, is it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Jaya Singh, are you there? Jaya Singh, no. Guys, are you guys not there? You just logged into the meeting and went away, is it? Shubham, Sachin, are you there?
Yeah. Yes, I just joined.
Oh, okay. Sachin Patil. Okay, let's take that. Okay, just a minute. Okay, so since we are running out of time, so let me. Okay, so I'll try to put the formula here. Anyone who has worked on the formula wants to share the screen? Yes, Sanju? Let me do stop share. Yes.
So this is the answer.
Okay. Count ifs, search terms, J to J, on good. Okay. Search term, end to end, less than equal. Okay, good. Yes,
So this
fair
answer
enough.
is correct or wrong?
Yes, yes, good. Correct. The answer seems to be correct. Let's see. I'll try to apply the formula and see if it's correct. Yeah.
Okay,
We
sir.
can just
Thank you.
cross check. Yeah, you can do stop share. Okay. So guys, what did we do here? So here, since we have more than one criteria, we will go with count ifs. Okay. Criteria range one. First, we'll check for the search terms that contain Bondgood. And since Bondgood is a partial text that we are looking for, we'll have to go with a wildcard in this case, right? So we'll have to first, we're going for Bondgood. So here, where should we look for born good? So that should be the criteria range 1. So we'll have to toggle to search term, and here we have the customer search term, right? So we can select that range. Here is the place that we should be looking for the born good search term in column J, right? So instead of selecting the entire column like that, it's better you always select the active dataset range. So that is J22, J2205. Okay, comma. What is my criteria 1? It should be my asterisk, because we have to use the wildcard, right? So we'll have to say asterisk born good and asterisk, right? So that is the complete wildcard that we're going with, comma. Now criteria range 2, second is we want to see whether CPC is less than equal to 10. So that has to be checked in which column? That has to be checked in column N. So we'll have to select that N22 last cell, whatever it is. So be careful when you do the control shift arrow down. You can see that the selection stopped in between because there's a gap in between, right? So you'll have to keep hitting control shift arrow down until the time you reach the last cell. So here, this is the one, comma. What is my criteria? It would be less than equal to 10, right? Close with inverted double quotes, close bracket, enter. So 19. So that's the correct answer. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Anyone? Okay, let me take the other two questions, guys. So since we're running short of time, we'll try to finish this first, and then we'll get into the prep charter. Okay. So here, based on the following condition, place the comment in column Z in search term sheet. Check where we are spending something, and at the same time, campaign has no sales, right? So there are two criteria. First thing is, what is it? So first is there should be some spend amount. Okay, so that should be here. I should have at least some spend amount, and at the same time, I am having no sales at all, right? In such case, I will what will I comment? I'll say non-performing. Otherwise, I'll have to say performing, right? So here, what is the function that we are going to use here? Anyone? Which function are we going to use here? So we need to place a comment. This is the conditions that we have, right? Right. If is what we are going to use. So let me hide the in between columns for now, because we don't need that. So that we can have the visible columns which are supposed to be used. I'll just hide it. Okay. So now we can see these are the two columns that we're going to use for the if function. So I'll say equal to if. Okay. Logical test. What is the logical test? I'll have to consider two criteria here, right? So can I specify the logical test directly, or do I need to use anything else before the logical test? Anyone? We have two criteria, right?
And or
Yes. Or is not required, and because we have to satisfy both the conditions, right? The sales should be more than 0, right? Sorry, spend should be more than 0 and sales should be 0. So we will say and, because both the criteria should be met. So I'll say logical test 1. First, we'll check whether spend is greater than 0. That is my first criteria, comma. What is my logical test 2? Now I'll check whether my sales is equal to 0. That's it. I only have two conditions, right? If both the conditions are met, what do I want to comment? I'll say non-performing. Okay. Else, in any other case where I have either my spend is 0 or my sale amount is more, then in that case I will say performing, right? Only in case when both the criteria are met, I want to place this comment, right? So that's what we did. So we'll say this is performing. I'll just fill the formula down. So we have the non-performance here. So we can see there is 0 sale, but there is a sale amount, spend amount, right? These also, there is some spend amount, but there are no sales. So these are the non-performing ones. So that these are the pain areas, right? That we want to highlight if we want to present the data. Yeah, everyone got this? Any question, anyone? Okay, I'll just give you the formula if anyone wants to practice this. Post the session can do that. Okay, I'll just unhide the columns that I have hidden. I'll just unhide, so that will still be there, right? Okay, next one. Insert a pivot table in new sheet and show campaign-wise spend and sales, right? So here, how do I insert? I'll do an insert pivot table. I'll go with a new sheet. So I'll have to put the campaign name in rows and my spends and my total sale should be in values, right? And I need to add one calculated column with ACOS, right? So ACOS formula is basically spend divided by 14 days total sales. So where will I insert the calculated field from? So it has to be from pivot table analyze, field items and sets, and calculated field. So I'll say ACOS here. Okay. In the formula, what do I need to select? First is spend. So I'll search spend here. Here it is. I'll double click to add that, divided by 14 days sales, double click and add it here. Okay. Add and finish. So this is the ACOS. Okay. Here I'll have to add into 100 as well. So I can, if I want to modify the formula, where do I modify it from? I'll again go here, ACOS. I'll say here into 100. Okay, modify. Okay. I can just reduce the decimal places to 2. Okay. Clear? Okay, so here we are getting division error, right? So is there a way we can get rid of the division error? Can someone tell me? Sometimes it's not good to show the errors, right? So other person may be skeptical whether the data is correct or not. So it's better we get rid of the errors. If you want to get rid of the errors, is there a way we can do it?
If error.
If error, correct, right? So the way we can modify the formula now, I'll go to pivot table analyze, field items and sets, calculated field. Again, I'll select the metric that I want to emit, ACOS. So I'll just add if error in the beginning. Okay. And at the end, I'll give a comma. And what do I want to replace the error with? I'll just give null value with 2 inverted double quotes. Null, I don't think it'll accept. I'll give a 0 there. Okay. Close the bracket. Modify and okay. You can see all the division errors are replaced with a 0. Yeah. Any question, anyone? Yes, Sanju?
सर यहाँ से कुछ भी मॉडिफाई कर सकते हैं?
Uh-huh. So whatever fields you have added, right? So if I go to calculated field, in the drop down, it will show me all the fields that we have created. So जो भी आपने create किया रहेगा, वो यहाँ दिखाएगा. So you can just select whatever you want to select, and then it will show the formula. तो यहाँ से आप amend कर सकते हो. ठीक है, जो भी आपको amend करना है, or if you want to add any multiply or anything as such, here is where you'll amend, and then you click on modify, and then you click on OK. So that will be amended.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, everyone got this? So we were talking about the custom grouping here, right? So custom grouping basically, so let's say that I want to consider the total spend amount for campaigns where we are having 0 sales, right? So let's say that I want to see all the 0 sales on the top. What I can do, I can just do the data sort, right? So I can right click on this, basis the sale value. I will sort from smallest to largest, I'll say smallest to largest. So you can see all the campaigns with 0 sales will come to the top. Okay. So we want to show whenever we present, it's a good metric to be presented there, wherein we will show what is the total amount here. Sum is 10,638 that we are spending on these campaigns, wherein we are not getting any returns from it, right? So we want to show that what is the percentage of this sum against the total spend that we have, right? So if I just do a percentage of column total, what it will give me? If I do a right click, show value as percentage of column total, it will give me individual percentages of these campaigns. So if I sum it up, it is 5.45, right? But if we group the data, this 5.45 will be visible separately to us, right? So let me, no calculation for now. Okay. So if I want to group, what I can do, whatever campaign I want to group, I can select those. Okay. These are the ones I want to group it as non-performing. I can just right click, go to group, and here you can see group one is created here. I'll just collapse all the fields here. So here, wherever is a group one, right, you can see these are the ones with zero sales. I can just rename it. I can say non-performing there. And let's say that I want to create one more group for the performing one. So what I can do, I can select all the campaigns with shift. Okay, I'll deselect only the non-performing group and then right click and then do a group. So now you can see group two is created. Group one is non-performing with zero sales and group two is, I can say, performing. Okay. Now, if I expand everything, let's say expand entire field. So now these are the performing ones and these are the non-performing ones, right? So if I now convert this into percentage of column total, show value as percentage of column total. Now you can see performing campaigns contribute to 94.55% of the total spends, whereas non-performing campaigns, which are with zero sales, are contributing to 5.45% of the total spends. Clear? Everyone understood this, guys? Any question, anyone?
सर
So you must have,
सर रिपीट
sorry,
कर
yes,
सकते क्या स्टेप
हाँ,
जो ग्रुपिंग किया
let,
आपने?
let me ungroup first. Okay, there is one more group, right? There is a non-performing group. Okay, so earlier, this is what was it, right? So first, you want to, if it is not sorted, right? अगर ये sorted नहीं रहेगा, it will be difficult for you to group at one go, right? So let's say that, let me do a sort with this. Okay, you can see that zero ones are somewhere in between. If we have to custom select it like this and this, it will be difficult for us to make the selections custom like this. With control, we can do that, but again, this is a lengthy activity. Instead, the ideal way of doing it is I can just sort the data with zero sale campaigns. So I'll say sort smallest to largest. So all the zero sale campaigns will come to the top. So now I can select all these with scroll with the drag and then right click on that and just group it. So it will automatically name it as group one. We can rename it to whatever it is, non-performing. Okay. Similarly, if I want to do it for the rest, I'll just collapse everything. So once we do that, you can see that it's a tree gets formed, right? So I'll just right click. I'll say collapse the entire field. So now it will be collapsed. I'll just select all the campaigns with shift. Okay. I'll just select the first campaign on the top. Okay. And then go all the way to the bottom with shift key, select the last one. Click on the last one. All the campaigns will be selected. Now with control button pressed, I will click on non-performing because I want to deselect that, right? So I'll just click there. You can see that is not selected. The rest of the campaigns are selected. I'll just right click anywhere on one of the selected campaigns and then I'll say group. Now it is group 2. I can rename it as performing. Okay, so we have the performing group on the top and non-performing on the bottom. You can see the breakup for each of the grouping that we did. Yeah. Everyone understood this? ACOS formula is basically your total spends divided by total sales. Okay. Okay. So since we are done with this, let's get into the what it is, the charter for prep. Just a minute. Okay, guys, I'm sharing one link. Please download that file and we will start working on that. Okay. Okay, I've shared the link in the chat. Please download the file and let me know once you're ready. and then we'll move on with that. It is the link for the data enrichment training file. So please download it. Okay, this is the link that I've shared, guys. This is the file. Everyone is able to access the file. Yes, no, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so not every time you will have the instruction very clear. So sometimes your boss may be in an assumption that you know it and you should be able to figure it out, right? So they will leave up to you how you want to analyze the data, right? So sometimes you'll have to build it from scratch and then do the presentation. So here, but in this case, let's take a sample client charter here. Okay, so here we can see the first task. Use the client brand list tab to determine whether each product is in test one belongs to. Guys, please ignore the previous charter, guys. Let's focus on this one. Okay, this is more important than that. Okay, try to access the file, that the link that I've shared, and then try concentrating on this one. Okay. Okay, test one belongs to the client brand or a competitor brand. Fill column A. So in test one, column A has to be filled with client or competitor. So how do we ascertain if it will be a client or a competitor? So here you'll have to carefully read the question. Use the client brand list. So in the client brand list, so these are the brands which are for client. Okay, so we have to consider this, and basis that we'll have to update here whether this is a client brand or the competitor brand, right? So how do I do it? Can someone tell me how can I do it? Don't tell me the manual way. We'll have to use a formula and get it. So what will be the logic? Formula, we will discuss about it later. So you'll have to build the logic first, right? So basis what you are going to ascertain if it's a client or a competitor, right? So here we have a list here, right? So here, what all we have, the available metrics here are, so basically you have the name, URL, and you have the age, average page 1 and 2. So basically this cannot be used either ways. Either we have to use this or this, right? So how do we ascertain what needs to be used? So you'll have to check for the brand. So brand here. So brand will be there in the name. In this case, it is there here in the name, right? So you need to check which is there in the data that you're working with. So here FlexiFix. So you can see FlexiFix is somewhere here, right, in the beginning. Okay, so here this is what you need to consider and make sure that you populate whether it's a client or a competitor. Wherever there's a FlexiFix, and then there is some other brand, let's say Tailguard, right? So Tailguard, again, Tailguard is somewhere here. Tailguard is here. So this is a client. So likewise, so wherever it is, it should not be a manual way. It has to be a formula. Can someone suggest a formula that can be used to update the name here? Anyone? No idea? So basically, so what we can make from this data is, okay, there are multiple ways of doing it. So Excel is something that you can work with multiple formulas and functions and get the same result. So what you can do is that, so here you can see that it is in the left side of the text string, right? If I want to do a VLOOKUP, I need to separate this data. This data has to be separately present somewhere, right? Rust away. This is the brand. So here I can see Tailguard is here, right? So this is the brand. So if I have to separate the data, then I can use the VLOOKUP. But if I do not want to separate and I want to use it as it is, what I can do, I can use a COUNTIF function, right? COUNTIF in conjunction with the if statement is what we have to use. Okay, so let's see how we use the COUNTIF. So here, one more problem is here we have multiple criteria here, right? this or this or this or this or this, either of the one. We have how many? We have 8 criteria here, and either of the one should match with the brand name which is there in the beginning, right? So in this case, we'll have to go with an OR criteria for the COUNTIF criteria. Okay, let's see how that works. If I want to work with COUNTIF, if I say equal to COUNTIF, okay, range. So range would be what? Range would be my this cell. I'm trying to count this cell if one of the criteria is present in this cell. So either it should return a 1 or a 0. Okay, so this will become my range. It should not be the entire cell like this, right? Only one cell should be my range because I'm trying to take the count only for that cell, right? Comma, what is my criteria? My criteria would be I'm looking for a partial text, right? So partial text which is present in client brand list here. So I'll have to use a wildcard. Again, I'll have to start with an asterisk, right? So I'll have to give asterisk first, okay? Then concatenate with an ampersand. Go to client brand list here. Select this range. Okay, this is what is the range. I'll do an F4 so that I lock it because I'm going to spill the formula down. So that will change the ranges, right? So that should not happen. So again, after this, I need to have one more asterisk, right? So I'll have to use ampersand, again asterisk. Okay. For now, I'll just use COUNTIF. Let's see what is it that I'm getting. So I'm getting 0, 0, 0, 0. That means that whenever we use an OR criteria with COUNTIF, it will match. So here, how many matches we try to find? So we've tried to match 8 criteria, right? So it will return 8 cells. So you can see 8 zeros. That means that it is not matching any of the criteria. So if I copy this formula, okay, and paste it for, where is it? FlexQuick, let's say. Okay, you can see I'm getting a 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That means that it is matching the first criteria. So wherever it matches, it will give me 1 count there. Okay, for others, it will become a 0, right? But in this case, I'm getting a spill result, right? So this cannot be used in my if function. So I'll have to have one logical test basis which I need to determine what is the true value and the false value, right? So here, this bit, everyone understood this bit? COUNTIF with OR criteria. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear? Or using just this formula, you can see that it is occupying 8 cells. So we have to aggregate the result of this. So basically, what is happening? Guys, is my audio clear, guys? Am I audible? I'm getting a message
Yes.
that internet is unstable for
Yes,
me. So I'm not sure whether it is clear for you or not. Yeah.
It's audible,
Okay.
sir.
So here, since I'm getting a range of values, right? So I'll have to use any of the aggregate functions so that I can either do a sum, I can do a sum product or an average, whatever it is. So if I select this range, it should either do an average count or some whatever something, only then I'll get. So if I use a sum function for this, so what will happen? It will return me the sum of it. Now I'm getting only one result in that cell. This is what we are supposed to do, right? Because this is an array function here. So it will return an array of values. So we are getting 8 values there. So it will not know what needs to be done with those values. So we have to use an aggregate function like sum, count, sum product, whatever it may be the case. And then we have to make it 1. So if I'm getting a match anywhere, so if I drag it now, right? Same thing, if I drag it now, you can see wherever there is a match, I'm getting a 1 there because it is trying to sum up there. So this one, if I say COUNTIF this, so you can see the result here, it is 0, 0, 0, 0, and it is the last one is matching 1. So sum of all this is 1. That's why we're getting a 1. For this one also, if you see, if I evaluate this bit of the formula, it is giving me what? 0, 0, 0, and there's a 1 in between. That's why the sum of all this is 1. Clear? Okay, I'll share the consolidated formula, guys, once we update the if function to it. So now, basis this formula, so you understood why did we use a sum? Because COUNTIF with OR criteria is returning us a range of values, like 8 values, right? For those 8 values, Excel would not know what needs to be done. So we have to assign an aggregate function like sum or a sum product. Then it will understand that needs to be, those values will have to be summed up, and it will give you the end result as one entry. So this one entry can now be used as a logical test for if statement. Okay, let's see how that works. So this is there. So I will start with if, open bracket. Now in place of logical test, whatever we have just now created, I'll leave it as logical test. Okay, I'll give a comma. Okay, not comma. So logical test, what is it returning us? It is either returning me a 0 or a 1, right? So basically, what would my logic say? If it is returning a 0, that means that it is not present in the client list. So if I say equal to 0 as my logical test, so whatever is the outcome of this logical test, this sum and countif wala logic. So if it's a 0, then that means that it is not there in the client brand list. So I'll have to say competitor. Okay. So if it is not 0, that means that it is 1. That means that it is present in that sheet. That means that that is a client brand. So I'll have to say client in the value if false. Okay. So I'll just close the bracket. Okay. Enter. Now I can say I'm getting a competitor. So if I just copy this formula, let's say, okay, I'm just pasting it here for now. Okay. If I drag the formula just to show you the side-by-side comparison. So wherever I'm getting a 0, you can see I'm getting a competitor there. And wherever I'm getting a 1, I'm getting a client. Everyone understood this? Okay, I'm giving the formula for your reference. Everyone try this out and see if it's working for everyone. Yes, Pratik, can you share your screen once? Pratik, are you sharing your screen? Can we do it a little quickly? We are not able to see your screen yet. Anyone else can see Pratik's screen, guys? Okay, so if it's taking time, we'll take that later, Pratik. For now, let's proceed. Okay. If you're logging in with the laptop now, it might take a little more time, right? So let's proceed. And as and when towards the end, if time permits, we'll just see that. Okay. Okay. Everyone done with this, guys? Okay. Let's get into the second question. Okay, so this one, guys, the other possibility that we were talking about, right? So that is with VLOOKUP as well. But again, that becomes a little confusing. There is a way we can do it. I'll just show it to you and share the formula with you. If anyone is interested, you can try it out, but that becomes a little complex. So if I want to do a VLOOKUP, what needs to be done? I need to separate the left value, right? I'll have to take the leftmost value, right? So what I'll do, I'll just use the left function first. Okay, left of this, and I need to give the number of characters, right? So how will I know number of characters? Number of characters will not be the same for all the brand names, right? So here we can see that we have 9, some have 8. So it depends on the name. It differs from name to name, right? So we'll have to keep the number of characters dynamic. So the way we can do it, the logic that we have to derive is wherever there is a space, right? We can consider that as the breakpoint, and basis that we can break it. So how do I do it? So I can just say find function. I can use the find function and find text what? In this case, I'll give a space here, comma, within text is this, and start number would be 1. Okay. So if I do that, what it will give me? It will give me rust away. Okay, I'll have to do a -1 here because the space, extra space will also come. If I just copy and paste it here, you can see there will be an extra space at the end because we are taking the count until the space, right? So that space gets copied as well. So I'll have to do a -1. So now it will be the correct value. So you can see here. So if I say find, what is it returning me? Find, it is returning me 9. So that means that space is in the 9th position, but it is including the space as well. So we have to negate that space. That's why we gave a 1 here, right? So now if I spill the formula down, you can see that it is only giving me the brand names, right? So this value can be used as a lookup value to be done from here. So if I want to do that, I can say equal to VLOOKUP. Lookup value is the leftmost value of this, that is the brand name, comma, table array would be the client brand list. So I'll select that and do an F4 to lock it. In this case, I'll just take a 1 because we have only one column, right? So column index will be 1, comma, 0. So it is giving me NA, that means that that is not present there. So wherever I'm getting a brand value, brand name, that means that that is present there. Again, we'll have to, what is the output of this? We are getting an error or we are getting the name. Again, we have to pass a len function for that to find the length, and basis that we give that. So if I just use the same formula here, let's say, okay, let me do that. Okay, if I say len, if I have to say if length of this output is greater than 3, greater than 4, because hash NA will be 4 characters, right? So if it's greater than 4, that means that that is my brand name. So if it's greater than 4, then I want to say, no, here I need to close the bracket. This is greater than 4. I want to say client, else it will be competitor. Okay, what went wrong? Should be a value of. Okay, since that is okay, I'll have to use an if error, because if it's an error, I'll have to pass a 0, let's say. If error, if that is an error, what do I want to return? Let's say I want to return a 0. If it's that, if it's greater than 1, okay. That's 0. Yeah, there's one more bracket, enter. Okay, so this becomes the formula. So end result will be the same, just that this becomes a little complex. So it depends, right? So it is not only one formula that you need to work with. So you, if there is availability, if you want to, if you have practiced other formulas as well, we can get the same result with different formulas as well. So I've given the formula for your reference. If anyone wants to try this out, can explore that at a later stage. Okay. Okay, let's take the next question, guys. Use column Q SKU in the existing products tab to determine whether the products in test one are new or existing. Okay, so existing product list is already there in the final last sheet, right? So here we are asked to use the column Q, whatever is the SKU code, right? And consider basis that you'll have to comment here whether it's a new or existing, right? If that product is present in existing products, you can say existing. If it's not there in this, then we can say new, right? So what logic would apply here? Can someone tell me? Okay, let me share the sheet link. Guys, someone think of the logic. Okay, sheet link has been shared again, guys. So if anyone is joined late, can access that. Okay, so here, what is the ask here? Whether this product is present in this sheet, we have to consider the SKU code, right? Basis that we can say that if it's there or not, and basis that we can do that. So here also, what we can do earlier, what we did, countifs is what we did, right? We can use the same countif again. So countif, what we will do, just a minute. So here, if you see, sorry, I clicked on URL. So if you see the URL, right? So you'll have to ascertain what can be considered. So here, if you see in between after DP, right? RA66666 is what is the SKU code, right? So if I consider the SKU code, you can see here, what is it? BO46065. So that is the SKU code. So that is present here, right? So SKU code is somewhere present in between. So what I can do, I can copy this, okay, and paste it here. Okay. So what we can do, we can separate the rest of the matrix. How can we separate only? How can we separate only the SKU code from this? Can someone tell me? Anyone knows the way we can separate this SKU code from this URL? No idea? Anyone remembers text to column? No? So basically we can make use of text to column and only take the SKU codes from here, and rest of it we can ignore. We need not import, right? So how do we use it? So we just pasted the URLs here. Okay. We go to data, text to columns, and here we'll say delimited because we can see that there is a slash, right? So we can consider the slash to split the data. Every SKU code, there's a slash before SKU code and after SKU code. So we can use slash for splitting up the data. So we'll go to text to columns, delimited. We'll do a next. Okay. Here we do not have the slash. So I'll give it here slash. You can see that virtual split is happening here. Okay. I'll do a next. So I need not import all the others. I just want to import only this thing, right? Only the SKU code. So I'll just select with shift these four. I'll say do not import. Okay, I'll leave this, and the last one also I'll say do not import. Okay, I'm just importing only the SKU code. I'll just do a finish. So you can see now I only have the SKU codes here. Okay, so now we can use this for countif, and basis that we can either we can do a VLOOKUP or we can use a countif, right? So we can say equal to countif. Okay, range would be this. Okay, range would be what? This time it will be other way around, right? So we'll have to go there. Criteria range would be my criteria ranges, all the SKU codes that I have. I'll do an F4 since I'm going to spill the formula, comma. What is my criteria? I'll come back to test one sheet and my criteria would be this. Okay. I'll just close bracket. What do I get? I get a 0. That means that is not present. If I spill the formula down, we can see 1, 2, 1, 0, 0. So this is the countif output. So we're getting 0 or greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, that means that it is present there. If it's a 0, that means it's not present. So we can use this as my logical test in the if statement, like we did in the previous condition, right? So we can say if here, okay, logical test is, we can say if this output is greater than 0, okay, then that means that it is present in that sheet, right? So that is existing. So I'll say existing as the value if true. Okay. Otherwise, if it's not greater than 0, if it's 0, then it is new. Okay. Close bracket, enter. So if I just copy this formula, I'm just pasting it here so that we can see the side-by-side comparison, right? So you can see wherever there is more than 0, 2, 1, wherever it is, we are getting existing, and wherever there is a 0, we are getting a new. Everyone clear with this? Everyone understood this, guys? I've given you the formula. Okay, if anyone wants to apply and see, try to apply that and see. Okay, everyone got this? Any question, anyone? Guys, anybody trying this? Anyone is trying to apply this?
Yes, trying.
Okay. Everyone understood the logic, right? So basis the count that we have, we do that. Okay. Okay, done. Shall we proceed? Text to column, how did we do it? So we copied the URLs. Okay. So we can paste it anywhere for that matter. We pasted it here. Okay. We can paste it here. Okay. Now we know that we can split the data basis the slashes that we have. We can see that next to the SKU code and before the SKU code, there is a slash, right? So basis that becomes our delimiter. So that it can be used and text can be split. So I'll just select the data that I want to split. In this case, the URLs. Go to text to columns. I'll go with delimited because I have identified a delimiter here. With next, in other, you'll have to specify what is the delimiter. In this case, we used slash, right? So that is what we'll specify here. We'll do a next. And then here, we need not import the other fields which are not required here. Only in case we need this one, right? So I can select the first one. With shift button pressed, I'll click here so that all the fields are selected. I'll say do not import. Similarly, I do not want this as well. I'll say do not import. I just want to import only this one, right? I'll just do a finish. You can see only the SKU codes are imported. Clear? Okay, guys, for someone who wants to explore more, there's a way without splitting the data here within the formula itself. We can use it using a mid function that I will tell you. Just you can explore that when you get time. Okay, so here you can see we are trying to take the criteria from here, right? So instead of that, we can pick the criteria from here itself. So if I want to only split, okay, if I just want to split using a mid function here, I can simply say, so how does the mid function work, right? Mid basically you'll have to, if I say equal to mid, okay, here the syntax says text, start number, and number of characters. Basically, if I select from this text, I want a mid value. That means that in between some value I want to separate, right? Comma. Let's say I gave a start number 4 and I need number of characters 5. Okay, so that it picks the from 4th character onwards, it picks the 5 characters that we gave and gives it as an output. You can see mid of D3, and it is starting from 4th character onwards, which is the T, and then it is picking 5 characters from T onwards, right? That's how the mid function works. But in this case, we need to specify from where it needs to pick, right? If it's common, right? If you know the position from where it needs to pick, then what I can do is that, so let's say that I'm just copying this. Okay, I'm pasting it here. I'm sorry. I'm pasting it here. So if I find the length of this, okay, so I can just give that as a start position. It is 27. So if I say from here, I'll say 28. From 28th position onwards, how many characters are there for SKU code? If everything is normal, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it will be 7 characters. Okay, what happened? Mid of not this, sorry, mid of this. Yeah. So it gives me the SKU. So if I drag the spill the formula down, you can see we are getting the SKU codes with the mid function, right? If you know that, otherwise you'll have to again use the find function if it's not consistent. So here in this case, all the URLs are consistent and SKU codes are starting from 28th character onwards. That's when we can use this mid function. So I can just copy this mid function, and here I can just replace the test G2. G2 reference can be replaced with the mid function. Okay, here it should be E2. Okay, so same thing, without the text to column option, we can use the mid function and get the same result. Yeah, I'm just giving the formula for your reference if anyone wants to refer to it later. Okay, mid function typically returns the mid value basis the character position that we specify and number of characters we want from a text string. Yeah, this becomes a little complex, guys. Try to ignore it. It's not necessary that you should know this. As long as you are able to get the result, that should be okay. They just want to see how you're performing, how you are getting the output. That's it. Which function are you using? They're not bothered of that, right? So try to focus more on the functions which you are well acquainted with. Okay, next question. Any question, guys, before we proceed? Anyone? Okay, next. Once you have determined the outcome of the first 2 tasks, populate column C in test 1 with keep if it meets the following logic. Okay. Okay. So in this case, the product is new and a client product column A plus B. Okay. If it's new and a client. So basically, if it's a new product and it is a client product. So in this case, this combination, let's say, I want to comment it as key. Okay. The product is new and a competitor product, but with an average page 1 and 2 of 1 and 2. So there's a second condition as well. Okay. So first condition is if it's a new and a client product, that the comment should say keep. Otherwise, if it's a new and it's a competitor product, at the same time, if it's a competitor and the average page 1 and 2 is less than equal to 2, right? 1 and 2 is what is the ask here, right? So here you need to understand this. Populate this column. Remove for any products which do not meet either the logic 1 or 2, right? Only these 2 should get a keep comment. Anything else should get a remove comment. Okay. So here it is new, competitor, and average page should be 1 and 2. Okay, so here, what function are we going to use here? Anyone? Which function are we going to use here? So basically, we are commenting basis a based on a logic that we have, right? Couple of logics that we have. So we have to go with if again. Again, it's not a straight if, it'll be a nested if because we have multiple criteria to be checked, my multiple conditions to be checked, right? So I'll say if, okay, logical test. First, I will check whether my product type is new, okay, customer is new, and client or a competitor. So I'll say what function I need to use. I'll have to use AND operator here. So first logical would be this is equal to new. Okay, that is my first logical test, comma. Logical 2 would be what? I want to check whether this is equal to client. Okay, so that's it. I'll close the bracket. My logical test is over with those two criteria. What do I want to return in this case? If both the criteria are met, I will say keep, right? So I'll say keep, comma. So in value of false, I cannot give the remove directly because the next criteria has to be checked, wherein I want to check whether if the client is new, okay, new if the product is new, and at the same time if it's a competitor, and as well as I need to check whether average page is less than 2. 1 and 2 means it's less than 2, right? So we can consider that as less than 2. So I'll say, again, I'll start with if because I have a logical test to be executed. So this time again, I'll have to use an AND operator here because we have 3 logical tests to be considered. So I'll say logical 1 would be first, let's say I'm going with client or a competitor is equal to competitor in this case. Okay, comma. Next, my B2. Okay, B2 is this. B2 is equal to what? New, right? Second criteria, comma. What is my third criteria? Average page. Okay. Now, can someone tell me? Okay, we are taking it. We can give the third criteria in 2 ways. Either I use an OR operator here and say this is equal to 1, comma, this is equal to 2. It can be either of the one, right? Either it should be 1 or a 2. We'll just remove the equal to here. So if you check the question here, it says that with an average page of 1 and 2, right? So either of the one can be fine. So either I can go with OR operator like this, or what I can do, I can delete that. I'll say my F2 is less than equal to 2. Both are one and the same, right? Either 1 or either 2 or less than equal to 2 will be the one and the same. Okay, close the bracket. Those are the only 3 tests I need to execute. I'll just say, comma, value if true. If it's true, if all the 3 criteria are met, then I want to say keep. Else, in this case, it means that if both the criteria, both the logical test, first one and the second one fails, I want to say remove for any other criteria, right? So I'll say remove for any other condition. Close with inverted double quotes and close bracket. And one more close bracket because we have added if twice, right? Enter. So if I spell the formula down, I can see keep because new competitor and this is 1. Okay. Keep because new and client direct first match. Here keep new and client direct match. Keep because new competitor and this is 2. Clear? Everyone got this?
Yes.
Okay. I'm giving you the formula. Just check if anyone wants to try that out, can try that out. Guys, we have seen that clients are asking complex queries, complex questions like we see here, right? So basis that, we have tried to make one charter of a similar questionnaire, right? So try to practice more on these lines so that it will be easier for you to crack the interview. Okay. Just a minute, please. Yes. Any question, anyone? Everyone done with this? Okay, apart from nested if, we can also use ifs as well. But again, that is not available in all versions of Excel. It's 2021 onwards that is available. But again, let's not try to cover that for now since we have less time here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Next question. Copy URLs from test one for products you marked keep into column A. So here we have to just copy the URLs wherever we have keep, right? So either we can apply a filter here. The easiest way is apply a filter for keep. Okay, and these are the URLs. So whenever there's a URL cell, instead of clicking on that cell directly, click the above cell and then scroll down, right? Down arrow, and then do a Control Shift down, copy, come to test two and just paste it. Okay. What is the other way of copying the URLs basis the condition? Anyone knows? Can someone tell me? Is filter function taught to you? Anyone has any idea of the filter function? No? So basically what filter does is equal to filter So here filter, what it is saying, array, include, and if empty, right? So just, okay, let's not complicate things, okay? You'll get confused. For now, let's stick to the manual one, okay? So what we did a manual paste of the data, right? Okay, so now we have the URLs here, okay? So I'll just unfilter this for now. What is the second ask there? Use data text to columns delimiter to extract the SKU from URL path segment after DP. Place the SKU in column B. So now SKU has to be separated. We already did that previously. We can just copy this. Okay, paste it here. Again, I'll do a text to column here and do a delimited next. Again, the other is already there with slash. I'll do a next. Again, I'll skip all the other unnecessary ones. I'll say do not import for the first four and the last one as well, and do a finish. Okay. Alternatively, like I told, it is the mid function. If I want to use, I can simply say mid, and this text, comma, start number will be, this is from 28th position onwards, right? So I'll say 28, comma, 7. I need 7 characters from 28th position onwards. That returns me the SKU code. Okay. Clear? Okay, this mid function, I'll just give it to you if anyone wants to refer to it. Guys, mid function is a very useful function. If anyone wants to explore that later, can explore that. If you can pick the mid value from any text string, but again, there has to be a certain logic basis which you can pull that. So for example, if it's not consistent, again, you cannot give the numbers directly like this. So you need to use the find function with the len function. Everything is there. There's a mix and match of everything. Basis that we can pull that data. Okay. I'll just delete this for now. Use conditional formatting to highlight any duplicate SKUs in column B. So in column B, if I want to highlight the duplicate SKUs, what I can do, I can just select those SKUs and go to home, and under conditional formatting, I'll say highlight cell values, duplicate values. Okay, and select that. If there are no duplicate values, so nothing is highlighted there. Briefly explain your steps for using text to columns to extract SKUs. So this you know, right, how to explain that. So what procedure did you follow to split the text from SKUs, for SKUs? Clear? Okay, guys. One more challenge that we have seen is that this is very frequent complaint from the client that candidates are not able to use the VLOOKUP properly when using in Google Sheets, right? Some clients tend to work on Google Sheets, and VLOOKUP does not work the way it works in Excel in Google Sheets. So if you're working VLOOKUP within the same workbook in a Google Sheet, it will be straightforward like we do in Excel. But when we try to cross-reference the sheets, right? So we are trying to pick the data from a different sheet altogether, different workbook altogether. We're trying to use a VLOOKUP there, right? It doesn't work. So I'll just share the links of 2 files. Just open those files. Okay. Try to download those files. And then we will try to apply one VLOOKUP there and see how that works if we are trying to do it with different sheets. Okay. Just share this. Okay, I've shared one link. I'm sharing one more link. Okay. Access both the files and download the files. Okay, you have to download it in your system. I'm sorry, make a copy in your drive, and then let's work on that. Okay. Let me know once everyone downloads it. Is everyone able to access the file?
Yes, sir, done.
Okay, so typically this is the file that I've shared with you guys. Okay. Just a minute. Okay, so you will not be able to edit this, guys. So try to make a copy of this. So you'll have view only access. So here you can see that there are 2 different files. Okay, so we have the search term, which is common in both the sheets. Like for any VLOOKUP to work, we need to have a unique value basis which we need to do a lookup, right? So here we have the unique value. We have checked. We have made. So first we have to make sure that there are no duplicates. So this I have already checked. So there are no duplicates here. These are the unique values. So now I need to fetch the total spend for each of the search term. We have the 14-day total sales for each of the search term that we have, and the ACOS formula is already here, right? So basis the total spend here, the ACOS gets calculated here. So we have to fetch the data for total spend from the other sheet that I've shared, right? So this is the other sheet. Okay. So here, if I do a VLOOKUP, direct VLOOKUP, let's say equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, lookup value is what? This one, search key, comma, like we usually do in Excel. The moment I toggle to the other sheet, you see that VLOOKUP is no longer active. So that is not possible. You cannot directly toggle the sheets and fetch the data in Google Sheets when you use a VLOOKUP, right? Anyone knows how to do it in this case? How can we do a VLOOKUP in this case? Anyone? No idea? So import range, everyone is aware of import range, right? Yes, no, maybe. Not able to recollect, is it? Okay. So import range, what it does, so basically we try to import the data from a different sheet, right? So if I say here, so let's say that I want to import the data, right? If I want to import the data for this entire set, right? So I'll have to use an import range here. So I'll say equal to import range. Okay, for that to work, I'll have to first copy the URL, the spreadsheet URL. So this is a spreadsheet URL, right? I'll just copy that, and I'll have to also check the range that I want to import from this sheet, right? So here the range would be A1 to, what is it? E1742. A1 to E1742 is what I need to import, right? So, and this is the sheet name is data. Everything has to be kept in mind. A1 to E1742. Okay, so I'll say equal to import range. Okay, spreadsheet URL we have copied just now, so I'll have to give that in inverted double quotes. Okay, you can follow the syntax help here. There's an example here. You can follow the steps and you can complete the formula, right? Comma. Okay, spreadsheet URL, comma. Now it is asking for the sheet name within that. So in this case, what is the sheet name? It is data, right? So that has to be given as data, whatever is the nomenclature there. Okay, comma, data, sorry. After that, there's an exclamation. And what is the range that we need to import? That is A1 to E1742. Okay, that's it. That is what I need to import. Close with inverted double quotes, close bracket. If I'm importing it first time, it will give me an error message that I need to give access, right? So there will be a red triangle towards the top right corner. And once you click there, it will tell you to allow access. Then the data will flow in, okay? But this is how we do an import range. So same thing has to be applied within the VLOOKUP formula. You're not supposed to, ideally, we are not supposed to have a separate sheet and import it and then do a VLOOKUP. If I do a VLOOKUP now to this data, it will work, but that is not the ideal way of doing it. Instead of that, I'll just copy this import range wala formula, that whatever we have applied here, okay, excluding the equal to sign. We need not take the equal to sign. Okay, so in this case, we are trying to fetch the spend, right? If I do a VLOOKUP, so whenever I'm trying to import the range, okay, so if my lookup column is in column B, let's say, had it been the case that there is a serial number here before this, okay, let's say I'll just insert one column to the left, okay, serial number, let's say, okay, 1, 2, I'll just drag it down. Okay, let's say there is that. Okay, so now if I do a refresh, so now you can see what happened. I have the import range from serial number onwards, right? So this will not work. So if I do a VLOOKUP, because when we do a VLOOKUP, the table array range should start from the column which contains my lookup value, right? So my lookup value is what? It is a search term. And in this case, my import range is picking the data from column A, where first column does not contain my lookup value. Hence, what I need to do is that instead of A to E, I'll have to consider B1 to E. So now it is only picking the data from column B onwards. So here in the source sheet, I have in column A, I have the serial numbers, but when I am doing an import range, I'm trying to import the data from column B to column E. Okay, not only E, if I want to stretch, I can stretch it until column F. But if I want to take only the spend, I can only pick only B and C. That should be fine. That should be enough for me, right? So what I can do, I can go there. I can just take until column C, and that should be good enough, right? Because I need to have the search term, and basis the search term, I want to pick the spend, right? So this is what I need to consider. So this formula is what I need to use within the VLOOKUP. So I'll have to go to VLOOKUP here. I'll say equal to VLOOKUP search key, which is the lookup value, will be the search term here, comma, table array. Basically, table array or the range refers to the same thing. So that is from where it needs to look that up from, right? So there I'll give the import range wala formula here, comma, index, that is basically the column index, right? Column index with reference to the lookup value, which is in column A. My column index will be the second column index. So I'll give a comma 2, comma, the is sorted range lookup basically will be a 0 or a false. Okay, close bracket and enter. So you can see I'm getting the total spend there. So I can just fill the formula down. So here again, I need to make sure that the table array range has to be locked. I will hit on F4 so that I lock it. Okay, 4 is not working for some reason. I'll put dollars manually there. Okay, before C and before 1742 as well, before I spin the formula. So now I'll just double click. Now I can see the spend values for rest of the search terms that I have. Okay, let's cross check one entry, eco-friendly liquid detergent. I need not have it here, import range. I can delete this sheet. Okay, since we have already embedded my import range within this, that's why we need not have that sheet separately imported there. Okay, so I can go here and do a control F, control V. So here, what is it? 263.58. Did we get the same? Yes. Clear? Everyone got this? Guys, in Google Sheets, try to practice more with VLOOKUP from a different sheet. Okay, try to have this. You can keep it as an example. Instead of total spend, you can try to fetch the data for the CTR and other metrics that we have in this sheet, right? Conversion rate, CTR, or whatever is there. So you can also take the value for CPC as well and try to do that and see if it's working for you. Clear? Okay, let me give you this formula if anyone wants to use it. Just a minute. Okay. Yes. Okay. Any question, guys? Anyone? Yes. If client asks you that if you are using ChatGPT, right? So do you have a practice of using ChatGPT, right? So you can say that you use it, but don't say that you are using solely ChatGPT is being used to find out the formulas, right? So you can say that you use your formula, whatever is there, whatever you used to, and you're trying to use ChatGPT for upskilling purposes or trying to find an alternative of the formula that you have, right? Only in such cases it's acceptable, right? Otherwise, if you're trying to use the ChatGPT or any AI tool for that matter, for you're trying to solely depend on that for formulas, that's not acceptable, right? So even what's happening in the recent past is that there is multiple times that whatever suggestions are being provided by the AI tools, those are not correct, right? You are getting an output as an answer, but that is not correct. So you should be in a position to assess whether the ranges that ChatGPT is suggesting are correct or not, if the criteria specified is correct or not. Everything has to be, you should be in a position to evaluate that bit. For that, you should know the formula first, right? So hence you cannot directly depend on ChatGPT directly if anyone is doing that. If someone is practicing with the formulas, that's well and good, right? Clear? Yes, any other question, guys, before we close the session? Anyone? Try to practice with these files, guys, that I've shared. Okay. Try to explore more and don't be in a hurry when the client asks you for any questions. Don't directly jump into the solution directly. Give it a minute, give a pause. Okay. Think about it. Even if you know, try to think about it and then try to apply your solution there. Okay. Solved sheet. So it is already there. These sheets are already updated, right? So, okay, the other two sheets, let me share. Okay, just a minute. Let me share the other two sheets. Guys, if anyone wants to drop off, can drop off. I'll just share the sheets. If anyone wants it, can wait and then download and then we can close the session. Okay. So I've uploaded the files, guys. Anyone wants to download can download the file and you can exit the meeting. In couple of minutes, it will automatically close. The meeting will automatically close. Anyone wants to download, please download it immediately and then we can close the session. Yeah. Yeah, whoever is done can disconnect the meeting, guys. You all have a good day ahead, guys, and all the best for your interviews and placements, guys. Do well, try your best and get placed. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. Yes, Prateek. Prateek, you are on mute if you are speaking.
In my Google Sheet, I typed the whole link, but still it didn't show the data to that. It didn't imported the data from that another sheet.
Okay, okay. Can you share your screen once?
Yes.
I'm doubtful. There's only 1 minute. It will get disconnected automatically. Let's quickly. Okay, error, right? Just click there. Click there. Click there. Yeah, formula parse error. Okay, there's some parse error there. Okay. What did we do? Okay. Again, at the end, you see double quotes and bracket. That's why that should not be there. Close there. Close bracket there. That's it. Enter. Now go there. Allow access. It should work. Yeah. Okay. Yes, guys. You can just okay. You can just disconnect the call if anyone wants me to wait, guys. Everyone done with downloading the file? Okay. Let's close the session in that case. Okay. You all have a good day ahead, guys. Bye, everyone. All the best.
Sir, good night.
Bye bye. Good night.